Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, roll call.
Vice Chair Osias.
Here.
Commissioner Chapman.
Here.
Commissioner Peach.
Here.
Administrator Jones.
Here. All right, do we have any modifications to the agenda today?
I don't have any.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved. The first order of business is public comment for agenda items. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say about any agenda items? All right, seeing no comment, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Thank you. Item 1A is approval of vouchers for the week of February 29th.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion approved. Reports and presentations. First would be 2A.
You would ask for...
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm a rookie. Does anybody have any reports or presentations today?
Thanks much. I attended the Board of Natural Resources monthly meeting last week, and important issue that was developed is the fact the process of establishing the new sustained yield, which is now 2 years overdue, anticipated being completed by the end of this year, has now been rescheduled until third quarter next year.
Wow.
Very complex issue. The good news, I think, is that with that amount of time, they're going to be able to answer some questions and get into some detail. And then, as a matter of public record, I made a request to staff that the financial analysis for the MERLET environmental impact statement, it's all part of the sustained yield calculation, detail the impact by county and by trust. And my reasoning was that when the original EIS for the Habitat Conservation Plan was established 19 years ago, the financial analysis said there was a negligible impact with and without. 19 years later, we have over 623,000 acres at $10,000 an acre that's not producing money for the beneficiaries. That's a $6 billion change. And so what I'm asking is, let us be very careful this next report.
Thank you, Commissioner Beach. Commissioner Chapman, did you have any reports or presentations today?
I'm good.
All right, I don't have any either. All right, well with that, we'll move on to contracts and agreements. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Item 2A is amendment number 1 with Cedar Grove, changing the Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery language, and there is no change to the amount of the money or the budget.
We're just going to do one.
Yeah, I mean, we have to do them one at a time. Each one gets their own vote.
Right.
So,
Move to approve the agreement, the amendment with Cedar Grove.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Amendment passes.
item 2B is amendment number 1 with Trillium Treatment Center, changing the Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery language. Again, no change in the budget or the award.
Move to approve the amendment with Trillium Treatment.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2C is amendment number 1 with Olympic Personal Growth Center, changing the Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery language. Again, no change in the county budget or the award.
Move to approve the amendment with Olympic Personal Growth.
1 second. Any comments? Conversation? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 2D, amendment number 1 with the Specialty Services 2 LLC, changing the Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery language. Again, no change in the budget or the provider award.
Move to approve the amendment with Specialty Services 2.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Amendment passes.
Item 2E is amendment number 1 with the West End Outreach Services, changing Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery language. Again, no change in the county budget or the provider award.
Move to approve the amendment with West End Outreach.
Second. Any comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Item 2F is amendment number 1 with TrueStar Behavioral Health Services, changing the Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery language. Again, no change to the county budget or the provider award.
Move to approve the amendment with TrueStar Behavioral Health.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2G is amendment number 3 with Correctional Healthcare Companies, Inc., extending the contract another year and increasing compensation for inmate health care services in the jail. This is a total increase for 2016 of $6,541, which makes the total annual contract amount $281,393.
Move to approve the amendment with Correctional Healthcare Companies.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2H is an agreement with the Washington State Military Department and U.S. Department of Homeland Security for Emergency Management Performance Grant, all as we heard in work session on February 29th. A grant amount of $40,042. The money is already in the emergency management budget.
Move to approve the agreement with Washington State Military Department and U.S. Department of Homeland Security.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Jim, before we move on, I want to move back real briefly to number 2G. Do we need to move to have a public hearing for this move budget change document to regular agenda / public hearing? I just want to make sure if we need to announce
Well,
the public hearing.
we will, but separately for a debatable emergency.
Okay.
We will bring that forward as we bring all of the ones for the next month forward at the same time.
Okay.
Then is when we'll announce the public hearing. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll require one.
Thanks,
Yes.
just want to make sure we weren't missing it there. Okay.
Item 2I is an agreement with ARINC for engineering and technical support for the Public Safety Radio Network. Cost to be paid out of the OpScan Operations Fund, all as was discussed back in work session on February 29th. Maximum amount $8,000 for fixed fee and $24,000 total for the work set in attachment A.
Move to approve the agreement with ARINC.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2J is an agreement with David Ziron, doing business as Condivent.com for services related to the Public Safety Radio Network. Again, all as was discussed in work session back on February 29th. The costs will be paid out of the OpScan Operations Fund.
Move to approve the agreement with David Ziron. Thank you.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2K is an agreement with A2Z Enterprises LLC for purchase of land for the Lower Elwha Road reconstruction project, as was discussed in work session on February 29th. Total amount $10,454.50.
Move to approve the agreement with A2Z Enterprises.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2L is an agreement with Susan Allen for purchase of an easement for the Carlsberg Sewer Project, as was discussed in work session February 29th. Purchase amount $500.
Move to approve the agreement with Susan Allen.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2M is an agreement with Kayleen Zeller for the purchase of an easement for the Carlsberg Sewer Project, as was again discussed in work session on February 29th. Amount of purchase $500.
Move to approve the agreement with Kayleen Ziller.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 2N is an agreement with Donald P. and Susan L. Cook for purchase of an easement for the Carlsberg Sewer Project, as was discussed in work session February 29th. Purchase price $500.
Move to approve the agreement with Donald P. and Susan L. Cook.
All in favor? Aye. Second, excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me. Motion passes.
Item 2O is an agreement with the Clallam Conservation District for renewable resource conservation activities. This is the annual contract the commissioners have with the Conservation District, as was described in work session on February 29th. maximum amount $26,000.
Move to approve the agreement with Clallam Conservation District.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, moving on to bids and awards.
Item 3A is the proposed bid award to Lakeside Industries, Inc. for the 2016 Hot Mix Asphalt and CSS-1 Liquid Asphalts Requirements Project. And Ross is here to answer any questions that you might have after the bid opening. Total amount is $516,526. Delivery cost of $1 per ton per mile.
Move to award the bid to Lakeside Industries.
And a second. All in favor? Motion passes.
Ross, does that need to include the authorization to sign the agreements once you
Yes.
have them in place? Okay. The last part of the approval letter asks for authorization of the chair to sign the documents.
So,
Can we include that in the motion?
oh, sure.
He's asking.
Would you revise your motion, Bill?
I accept the friendly amendment.
All right, second. All in favor of revised motion? Revised motion passes. Thank you. All right. Moving on to administration.
Item 4A is approval of minutes for the week of February 29th.
Move to approve the minutes from February 29th.
And a second. All in favor? Motion passes.
Okay. And if I may, Commissioner Peach, I put that under administration so that you could abstain because you weren't at that meeting.
Yes.
On March 1st, you were fortunate. Did you want to abstain from signing those documents, or?
Well, I've reviewed, I'll abstain to make sure that there isn't any question because I was out of town, but I did read the minutes, which would rely on Commissioner Chapman.
Commissioner Chapman, would you mind making a motion to approve the minutes for the week of February 29th?
Yes. It's all, yeah.
Okay, I second. All in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, finally moving on to budget.
And item 5A is approval of the budget modifications for the week of February 22nd, as they were on your table and in your packets.
Move to approve budget modifications for the week of February 22nd.
And I second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We've got no items in community development, no items for public works, no hearings. Do we have any public comment about anything at all? Yes, sir, please.
Yes.
If you can come up, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the podium and stating your name for us, that would be fantastic. Thank you, sir.
First, I'd like to clarify something. My name is William Anthony Cook. I go by Tony, and lately there's other nicknames that people have for me. If you look at under contracts and agreements under 2N, as far as I know, I'm not related to Donald P. Cook or Susan L. Cook. I just thought that was important to bring up. As you know from yesterday, I was drafted in November 1965, and much to my chagrin, an agency that you gentlemen oversee, Clallam County Vet Association, insulted that group badly when they recommended to the city that they not put plaques in a public memorial park honoring military veterans. I am a military veteran, even though my service was compulsory. CCVA doesn't agree with that. They think we don't deserve plaques with the word draftee on it. Secondly, I've looked under the bylaws for CCVA, and it says this organization shall be non-sectarian, non-political, non-partisan. I think they've gone a bit rogue. When they discriminate against fellow veterans, there's something horribly wrong there, guys. Not only that, in Article 2, Section 1 of their bylaws, they are a charitable organization to serve military veterans of Clallam County and advise the county commissioners, not the city. They reached an agreement with the city parks department to advise them on who goes in Veterans Park, which is quite absurd because, as was stated yesterday, a veteran is a veteran is a veteran. They don't have to be vetted by anybody. If you're a veteran, you're a veteran. And draftees are an identifiable group. It's easy to find out that we're a real group. We've just never been recognized, and we should be. What I would like to ask the commissioners to do is to basically nullify this decision by CCVA, and you guys are a member of that group. It says very simply, the Clallam County Commissioners shall be deemed as members in an ex officio capacity. You're members of that group. You should stop these guys because they've turned into, they're being allowed to take their prejudice and their bias and put them into public policy, which makes absolutely no sense. I don't care if the individual just like draftees. I do care if it becomes public policy. That concerns me greatly. The city council won't do anything. They may now. They won't do anything. And so I would like the commissioners to take away the right for CCVA to advise the city on anything. Their job is to advise you guys, not the city. And I would like you guys to send a letter to the commissioners stating that you feel that all military veterans, including draftees, should be honored as veterans. Marking the word draftee is not an obscene word in a public park. Secondly, I've been advised by council that there is and this is amazing to me because Gary Veagley is an attorney. There is something called traditional public forum. And council has advised me that public parks fall within that. And I have been advised that my rights as a citizen to be in a public place and display certain things have been violated. And I think you have available legal counsel. I think you should talk to them. The city attorney, I believe, has talked to the city council. He knows what I'm talking about. We've exchanged letters. But I would like you to correct this injustice to military draftees. My service was just as honorable as Gary Veagley's. Just as honorable. I don't think Gary Veagley ever set foot in the combat zone. I don't know for sure. And if he did, I'm sorry for him because it's a horrible place. Don't tell me after 11 months in the combat zone that my service is an equal to someone who volunteered. It's highly insulting. So please correct that issue. For millions of military veterans and for hundreds that live in Clallam County and thousands that live in Washington State and their families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say? Yes, Mr. Rando.
So I was here yesterday for the discussion around the Carlsbad sewer projects, and Ross is here today. And I didn't know if you had any comments associated with that, but I guess I came out of the industrial side where we had multi-million-dollar projects at various times, but it seems like some of these things are separated, like this engineering aspects. After the project's been bid, this comes in. I was a little unsure why that occurred and why that wasn't lumped into the entire project. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to make a comment? All right. Well, with that, does anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
Commissioner Chapman, for the record, I'm using your stamp.
For the record, you can use my stamp.
All right, well, in that case, it's 10:18 and the meeting's closed. We'll be back next Monday at 9.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved. The first order of business is public comment for agenda items. Does anyone have anything they'd like to say about any agenda items? All right, seeing no comment, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Thank you. Item 1A is approval of vouchers for the week of February 29th.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion approved. Reports and presentations.
They're going to be able to answer some questions and get into some detail. And then, as a matter of public record, I made a request to staff that the financial analysis for the Merlet environmental impact statement, it's all part of the sustained yield calculation, detail the impact by county and by trust. And my reasoning was that when the original EIS before the Habitat Conservation Plan was established 19 years ago, the financial analysis said there was a negligible impact with and without. 19 years later, we have.
First would be 2A.
You would ask for,
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm a rookie. Does anybody have any reports or presentations today?
Thanks much. I attended the Board of Natural Resources monthly meeting last week, and important issue that was developed is the fact the process of establishing the new sustained yield, which is now 2 years overdue, anticipated being completed by the end of this year, has now been rescheduled until third quarter next year.
Wow.
Very complex issue. The good news, I think, is that with that amount of time, over 623,000 acres at $10,000 an acre, it's not producing money for the beneficiaries. It's a $6 billion change. And so what I'm asking is, let us be very careful this next report.
Thank you, Commissioner Beach. Commissioner Chapman, do you have any reports or presentations today?
I'm good.
All right, I don't have any either. All right, well with that, we'll move on to contracts and agreements. Mr. Jones.
thank you. Item 2A is amendment number 1 with Cedar Grove, changing the Department of Behavioral Health and Recovery.
I pledge allegiance. I pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, roll call.
Vice Chair Osias,
Here.
Commissioner Chapman,
Here.
Commissioner Peach,
Here.
Administrator Jones.
Here.
All right, do we have any modifications to the agenda today?
I don't have